This piece is in 3/4, so it's a waltz, right? So just imagine a couple dancing, the woman's wearing a beautiful red dress, and they're in a beautiful town square, and there's always this trill, right? Could be like a little birdie on a tree somewhere close by. Such bull. Hi everyone, I'm Filippo Gatti, and today I want to talk to you about something that's typically not written in your etudes. How to play like you mean it. How to play expressively. And I want to stay away from all this flowery, nonsensical advice that I hear from so many teachers. The bottom line is, if you don't understand the physical processes it takes to make something sound a certain way, what the hell am I supposed to do with this dancing couple in the town square? In this video I'm going to give you very practical advice, how you can make your playing more expressive pretty much instantly. Expressiveness is the whole point of playing anything. And the good news is anybody can get better at it. First off, I like to say one thing. Expressive playing takes courage. Because having an opinion takes courage. You have to dare to stand out. And possibly risk offending somebody who doesn't agree with your interpretation. But you're the one who is on stage, not them. For me, expressive playing consists of 5 things. Number 1, character or intention. Number 2, shaping. Number 3, timing. Number 4, intensity and choice of vibrato. And number 5, choosing fingerings and bowings that are interesting. And we'll go through each one of these. Let's start with number 1, character or intention. For me, having an intention or the right character is the very foundation to all expressive playing. Intent means knowing exactly what kind of emotional effect you want to create and committing to it with every note. What are you doing? Are you pleading? Are you crying? Are you screaming? Are you whispering? Are you demanding? Are you arguing? What's the character? Is it joyous? Is it melancholic? Is it cheeky? Is it festive? If the piece of music you're playing is great, every note has a meaning. So don't sweep it under the rug. Speak it out. I don't think you always need to have the right words for what you're trying to achieve, but it can certainly help a little. I had this amazing teacher when I was a teenager, and I was working on Sibelius control with him. And there's this theme, right? Anyway, so I played this for him and he asked me, what does it remind you of? And I didn't really have an answer for it. It just sounded very badass to me, but I didn't really know what to really say to that question. He said it's actually very similar to the motif of Siegfried in Wagner's opera, right? Like so. And I can see the resemblance. And then he asked me, what is Siegfried's job? I was like, I don't know. Was he some sort of silversmith or something? I missed that? I don't know. He said no, his job was being a hero. I just thought it was hilarious, but ever since this moment, it's really stuck with me and I can't unsee that connection anymore. And whenever I played that passage, I always think heroic. And it really changed my entire perception of that passage. Number 2, shaping. Shaping is about building tension and releasing it, and incorporating that into your phrasing. Every note moves towards something or away from something. If all your notes are equal in volume and character, even if you have the most gorgeous sound, it's completely uninteresting. It's the contrast that makes it interesting. On a practical level, if you want to add more shape to your playing, experimenting with your bow speed and your bow pressure is going to be your best friend. Yes, it will affect your dynamics, but not only that, it will give your playing this kind of pulling power that gives your playing a direction. Try it, you'll see what I mean. Let me guide you through my thought process as I'm playing the second movement of the Tchaikovsky violin concerto, the beautiful canzonetta. Okay, so what we have here, I like to... The first time I play this, I don't want to connect the G and the A too much here. Right? So I kind of let it die off a little bit. And I could do it with bow speed very efficiently. You see? But initially I give it a little bit more bow speed. But it's more like a swell, it's not... Right, if I do it right away, the bow speed, it's gonna be just an accent. I want a more gentle approach to this. Just think of it as almost like a crescendo that gets into it. And then it can really develop the sound this way. And now more. You see, here I want the D to lead into G more. So I give it plenty of bow pressure and more bow speed. So it really goes there. And here, the C I find important, also the B, and also later the F sharp. So I vibrate a little bit. I give it a little bit more pressure, a little bit more bow speed as well. I would say this is a spot where you're pretty much pleading or crying. It's very dramatic. It's heartbreaking. And then continue. Second time a bit more already. Now build it more. And this time it's much more assertive. So I'm gonna... So that the G, I almost accentuate it a little bit. And this one, I give it a little more extra boost on the B flat, so it really pulls you in. You see the bow speed is fine, but on this one, that's where I start pulling here. And that connects it with the A beautifully. A great way of doing this is by saving your bow initially, every time you change the bow. This is a great habit to develop, and will make your playing more expressive right away once you have internalized it. Let's demonstrate on a scale, to keep it simple. Let's say I'm doing a scale in G major, and I'm playing 2 notes per bow. What you'll mostly hear is that you should divide the bow equally between the 2 notes, right? Wrong. What you want to do is actually using less bow on the first one and more on the second, so it leads into the next bow. Let me demonstrate. This is what I'm doing when I play 50-50. It just makes it instantly move more. The worst kind of habit you can have if you do exactly the opposite. If you go... You see, you run out of bow and there's no way you can create any kind of magic with no bow whatsoever. You can do this with 3, 4, 6, 8, 12 notes per bow, and make sure that the closer you get to the end of the bow, the more bow you give. So the first note has the least bow and the last one has the most. How about 3 notes? I'm playing 3 notes per bow, but the last one has almost half the bow, so very disproportionate. But that's what you want. 4. So right after I change the bow, whether it's up or down bow, I go in saving mode immediately. First of all, it makes my bow changes smoother and prevents me from doing an accent. And secondly, it shapes the phrase and gives me more direction. It's almost like you're playing a crescendo on every single bow. This will instantly help to shape your phrases more. Now, of course, there are situations where you want to do exactly the opposite. When you have some sort of sigh, which is very heavy on the front end of the phrase. You see, Mozart loves this kind of stuff. 99% of the time. Saving your bow initially after the bow change is going to help you a great deal. Another way to add shape and structure to your playing is emphasizing certain notes. Ask yourself what notes are more important than others, and don't be afraid to point them out. You can do this in a couple ways. For instance, what notes do you vibrate? Which ones do you not vibrate? Which note do you hold just a tiny bit longer than indicated? Which one is marginally louder than the others? Emphasize extra interesting spots, like where an interesting or unusual modulation occurs. Number 3, the power of timing and rubato. Having a precise rhythm is great and very important, especially when starting to learn the piece. But there are moments where you can use a little bit of freedom to your advantage, just so you sound a little bit less like a robot, you know? Tiny delays, slight stretches, maybe rushing a little bit some places, that's what makes your playing sound more human. It's also another great tool to make your interpretations more unique. Let's stick with the Tchaikovsky example. Let's play it exactly how it's written. Okay, let's make things a little bit more interesting. Which one did you like better? Now you may have liked this interpretation or not, but it's without a doubt more interesting than what I did before. However, I want to stress that this shouldn't be overdone most of the time. You see, the true mastery of rubato is in its subtlety. You don't even notice it, but it just makes the phrase feel so much more right. There are a few very famous, and of course unnamed, violinists who do this, who overdo this way too much, and it drives me up the wall. It can really get out of control when you're trying to be artsy for the sake of being artsy, and that can become extremely distasteful. As a rule of thumb, I would say, make sure that the proportions of the notes and the rhythm are still recognizable as what's written in the music. Number 4, intensity and choice of vibrato. Vibrato can enhance the expressiveness of your playing greatly, but if it's not supported with the proper bow speed and bow pressure at any given moment, it's not gonna have quite the same effect. Now, of course, you have a couple options: narrow vibrato, wide vibrato, slow, fast. You can vary it mid-phrase, point out some notes more than others, and maybe not vibrate some of them at all. All of these choices have to be very deliberate though. You shouldn't not vibrate a note just because it's technically inconvenient. You can also vibrate everything through to really connect to the phrase. Even faster passages, it really warms them up sometimes. If I didn't vibrate this, it would sound more dead. And the vibrato is extremely shallow because I'm playing so many notes. I don't want it to... It would sound very hysterical very quickly. So the vibrato I'm actually applying for something like this is something like this. It's almost like a little bit of a shaking of the hand. It's not even vibrato properly, but it gives you this effect of warmth. Now, why didn't I vibrate this D? I want it to be a bit more cold. You see, it doesn't have quite the same kind of dead effect. Also, this one I find very important, the C and the B flat and the F sharp. So this one gets a little bit of extra love. Same here. and even the F sharp. Is it convenient to vibrate the fourth finger like this? It's not, but I'm still gonna do it because it's worth it. And then more. Robato. And now A string. Whenever you deem a note to be important. As a rule of thumb, I would say absolutely vibrate it, even if it means holding it a tiny bit longer. I'm actually a big fan of vibrating pretty much all notes. I feel like it just really helps to glue the whole phrase together. Number 5. Choosing fingerings and bowings that are interesting and help you in your cause. The most comfortable fingerings are not always the best ones. I think fingerings should be picked on what they sound like, rather than how safe or comfortable they are. Of course, you still want to be able to play the piece in tune and properly, so sometimes you need to find a compromise, but you should always consider what it sounds like as a determining factor. For instance, where do you want to hear the shift or slide? What string do you want to play something on? Sometimes it's a better idea to stay on the same string for color, or playing something higher up on the lower string, even though it will be much more comfortable on the higher one, in a lower position. An example of a Bach chaconne, for instance. All G string. You could make the point. You could say that, but for color, it's just darker, a bit more meaty. Same Tchaikovsky. You just want to slide up there. You could do this, but it just sounds lame by comparison. A great example is what Heifetz does in the second movement of the Mendelssohn Piano Trio. He picked fingerings here that absolutely serve the purpose of what he was trying to achieve. Could he have played like a pianist with no audible shifts or slides? Of course he could have, but he chose not to, because he's a real musician. But he made a choice and made it so much more expressive. A couple extra thoughts. Expressive playing is an extremely personal thing. It will have to do a lot with your musical taste. Therefore, it's important to know what you like and what you don't like. That's why listening to a ton of recordings and a ton of different violinists is something I really recommend to all my students. It helps you navigate what you like and what you don't like. That being said, imitation is a great way to practice expressiveness. Listen to a recording that you really enjoy and try to imitate it. Record yourself doing it and then compare, A-B comparison. The difference between your perception of your playing and what it actually sounds like may be huge. As you're doing that, explore what it feels like on a physical level. What are you doing? What are you doing with your bow? Bow speed. Very specific information. No flowery nonsense. That way you can incorporate those techniques in your own playing and make them part of your arsenal of expressions. If you want to go deeper on this topic and many others, I've got more no-nonsense advice, tutorials on the left hand, the right hand, vibrato, phrasing, sound production, all of that good stuff on my website. It's completely free, there is no email sign up, nothing, just go there and watch it. Or if you're ready for a more personalized touch, I offer private online lessons, just reach out. Now go pick up your violin and dare to stand out. I'll see you in the next one.